There we go. Good evening. I actually have viewers. Oh my gosh, this is cool. And I have a graphic too. Neat. I'm gonna pop a root beer for the night. Thanks for clicking in. Oh boy. Hold on just a second. I will be right back. Ooh. Sorry about that. I'm monitoring the situation on the laptop behind me, and I forgot to mute the speakers. Anyway, here we go. Let's do what we set out to do, which is make a podcast this evening. This should be awesome or a disaster. Let me just there we go. That's the thing I want. My monitor is a little bit delayed here on my left, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Do I have audio levels? Check 1, 2. Yep. Let me know in the chat if I sound crappy. If you have questions about what I'm doing, I'll try to self-narrate as much as possible. Oh, look at that. Audience is growing. Love to see it. I see Jeff eating popcorn in the chat. That's cool. Anyway, let's dive in. I've got 2 shows to build, and I don't want to take all night. So let's get down to it. I do want to talk about something here really quickly, actually. And that is my students need to watch my video about file management and naming things. I'll tell you that right now. So without further ado, let's load up, everything we need for this evening's proceedings. I'm going to go to the multi-track and make a new session right away. I work quick. I'm going to try to keep an eye on the chat. If you have a question about anything I'm doing, by all means. Oh, I just realized that some of my keyboard shortcuts, sometimes if I'm typing, it'll change what is going to the stream. That's fine. Not going to worry about it until it happens. So here we are. Let's start building this thing. So we've got a show script. There it is. Those are all the little bits. And the gaps are where the items go, generally speaking. We recorded that earlier this afternoon via Clean Feed. Who was in this one? It was Rose Murphy and Simon Smith. 2 very lovely people. And then we have a podcast theme. Oh yeah, so it's going to resample it because of course it is. Cool. Let's get into her. I'll speed run the mixing of a podcast. That's what we should do here. Actually, how does this start?
Welcome to The Signal, radio from journalism students at the University of King's College in Halifax. I'm Rose Murphy.
And since I don't have a ton of theme, I could stretch it or I could get creative. I'm going to get creative.
King's College in Halifax. I'm Rose Murphy. Welcome to The Signal, radio from journalism students at the University of King's College in Halifax. I'm Rose Murphy.
And I'm Simon Smith.
All right, so a couple of things right away. First up, there's a disparity between the recording quality between Rose and Simon, and that's fine. When you record over Clean Feed, you don't have as much control as the engineer over these things. So I'm just going to go ahead and just boost all of Rose's parts right off the bat.
1 FM.
Our show.
Yes. Oh, I wonder if that is even a shortcut. I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna find out in the stream in just 2 seconds here. I think my enter key is assigned to one of my shortcuts for my streaming software, and I want to make sure that it's not. Okay, good. That would be comical if throughout the evening if everything I do in audition is reflected on the stream, but like in a bad way, like in a really terrible way. So I just went through and I leveled out, just eyeballed Rose and Simon's levels. I want everything to hit 0. I don't want to go over 0 because then it'll be distorted, and that's not great for our purposes. But I'm not done here. Let's add a little compression to that, huh? Yeah, I know you want to. Soft limit. Settings. Let's not give it like a huge boost. Let's just go 6. Oops, audition with Cam. There we go. Let's close that. Let's hear what this sounds
Welcome
like.
to The Signal, radio from journalism students at the University of King's College in Halifax. I'm Rose Murphy.
And I'm Simon Smith.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Riveting so far, isn't it? Well, let's get this opening out of the way, and then we can get down to business. So I'm going to start off with just the hosts, and then we'll come in with the theme after that, because I need to buy a little time. The script was longer than the background music, so I'm going to just move that over.
I'm Simon Smith.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Let's tighten that up.
And I'm Simon Smith.
Yeah, speaking of tighter, this is one of the things when using Clean Feed and people have to talk to each other. There's a slight delay, and you can't see eyebrows, so you don't know when someone's done talking or they're real tone.
In Halifax. I'm Rose Murphy.
And I'm Simon Smith.
Yeah, I can go even closer.
I'm Rose Murphy.
And I'm Simon Smith.
Dope. Let's move that over there.
I'm Rose Murphy.
And I'm Simon Smith.
Yeah, there we go. I'm going to dump this root beer on my keyboard by the end of the night. I know it. So what I look for is a post. For those of you who are musically inclined, you can just count to 8 or 4, depending on your mood, I suppose. I'm going to count in 4s this time. Yeah, somewhere around here, I want to bring the voices back in. So let's go there. And I use this marker or my playback head as a little guide.
This year, thanks to COVID-19, we're working...
That was a weird place to start, wasn't it? That didn't feel right. Let's try to make it sound as natural as possible. I'm going to put a knee in it, followed by an elbow.
This year, thanks to COVID-19, we're working remotely from all over the country.
All over the world.
For our first show, we decided to take a look at some of the ways the pandemic has changed life, for better and for worse.
It's a strange time.
So let's pause there for a moment. I think I can ride that background music a little hotter. Hey, fun scientific fact, and you can fact check me on this. The human ear can't detect less than a 3 decibel volume change. So I do all of my volume changes in increments of 3. Just no, it's just compulsion. I'm just being particular is all it is. That root beer is A+. I better milk that a little slower though. Long night ahead of me.
This year, thanks to COVID-19, we're
Simon,
working
yes.
remotely from all over the country. So, for our first show,
Simon, if I tune out, it's for the exact same reason. And I am joking, of course. You and Rose both sounded fantastic today. And thanks for watching, both of you, whoever's watching.
for better and for worse.
It's a strange time, but
It's a strange time. Okay, cool. How do I want to do this? I'm going to grab here. I got a little volume control here as well. Give it a little boost. Just
For
so they're
better
the same.
and for worse.
It's a strange time, but sometimes a crisis can make you try something new or find new ways of coping and adapting.
Right. For example, flu season occurs every year, and getting the flu shot is common practice for many Nova Scots.
Oh, that's the intro to the next piece. Okay, so let's do something fun here.
Or find new ways of coping and adapting.
Oh, I've already marked it. Ha 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 ha. Did I? Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to go in here. we'll split that and drag the music out of the way. I promised some tricks tonight. I'm getting to them early. Let's just take that. Get in there. Oof. That's not my best work, I assure you.
Of coping and adapting.
Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to drag that out to there. So this is just a standard beat match. Anyone who DJs, Jeff, I'm looking at you. No, that's all right. I was just teasing about the world in that country. But we'll come back to that.
Adapting.
Close enough. Couple little things in there that are bothering me, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So I'm just, this is a, never mind. I can talk about this another time, but the way this volume envelope behaves here, you can see how they didn't match. That's a change that's been implemented in a more recent update to my editing software, and I'm not happy with it.
Or find new ways of coping and adapting.
Yeah, again, not my best work. So let's see if I can make that more invisible.
Or find new ways of coping and adapting.
That's fine. That'll play. I'm going to bring this down a little bit, though, just because it's intense, dude. It is intense.
Ways of coping and adapting.
Right.
Right. For example.
Oh, wait till you finish this.
Right. For example.
Good.
Flu season occurs.
Blah, 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 blee, 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 blah. Simon, it's not that I don't want to hear what you have to say. I already know what you're going to say. So, I need that tool.
Are busier than ever. Benjamin Roth explains.
Benjamin Roth. Okay, cool. So, earlier today, I went through and I named all of the items with a number code at the beginning. So I could just very blindly drag and drop. Now, I'm not going... I should just throw out a little disclaimer here. I'm going to line everything up so it sounds good for timing. I may go back off stream and just sort of tweak the insides of some of these pieces just to make sure that all the levels are throughout. Levels are nice and even throughout. But we shall see.
Due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And that may mean that pharmacies are busier than ever. Benjamin Roth explains.
Nova Pharmacy in Halifax is just one local pharmacy.
That sounds good. So you can see what I did here. I just creeped the background sound in underneath the script a little bit. I like doing that whenever possible, and the opportunity presented itself here.
And that may mean that pharmacies are busier than ever. Benjamin Roth explains.
Nova Pharmacy in Halifax.
Yeah, there we go. Cool. I've heard this one before, so we just go to the end.
For the signal, I'm Benjamin Roth.
Yeah, you are. Do we have a Ben Roth in the audience tonight? I don't know. Get in the chat, boy.
He suggests calling ahead. For the signal, I'm Benjamin Roth.
COVID-19 has been tough for many people this year. It's also...
Okay, so just because the microphones between Simon and Rose are just a little different, I'm going to go in... Actually, I think this is what I'm going to do anyway. I'm just going to EQ that vocal track just a little bit. I feel as if maybe these are a little extreme in terms of settings. I don't want to take out too much, and I don't want to add too much either, but...
COVID-19 has been tough.
Yeah, that's good. I'll come back to this. I'll come back to this off stream. This is a compressor, and it's dynamics processing. So the way compression works, it's like trying to stuff a pillow into a garden hose. It's literally squashing something. But in this case, it's dynamics. And if you think of what the word dynamic means, it's the difference between the largest and smallest value in a set of values. And in this case, what we're talking about is the loudest bit. So for example, on this screen right here, I'll talk about a little bit about dynamic. So you have this peak here, which is the loudest bit, and this valley or trough down here, which is the quietest part. And that's what the waveforms represent. They represent loudness. So the way a compressor works is that it takes the loud parts and it pushes them down, and it also takes the low parts and brings them up a little bit. So the dynamic is smaller, and there's more to it than that. I'm not going to get into attack times and thresholds and release values and all that stuff. Don't worry about it. Just what you should know is that the human ear can be fooled very easily. So if you shrink the dynamic range of something, we are fooled quite easily because our ears are pretty much the worst ears in nature. We think it's louder, and that's why TV commercials are, as if someone watches TV still, but TV commercials are blasting loud because they're compressed, and it really just means there's no dynamic to them. And you can also hear this on terrestrial, we'll call it commercial radio, like top 40 pop radio, is really, really compressed as well because they want to be louder than their neighbor on the radio dial. So I've put very light compression on this track just to make it cut through a little bit, and then I can run it lower in the mix to match the loudness of the items without having to do a whole bunch of work afterwards, I should say, to match them. So this little plugin right here, Dynamics Processing, is doing some mixing work for me tonight.
Zarnagar Khan has more.
Oh, let's see what she does. So here's the cool story. Zarnagar Khan, the student that did this next story, if anyone who's... Hey, Zara, there she is right there. Jeff Harper, this is entertainment. Thanks, Zara. I'm actually just putting your piece in right now, and I just want to tell a story, as I have many stories. You went to my hometown and went to the zoo, and I already told Zara a little anecdote over email. 1 second.
You want another one?
You want another one? I already told Zara this little anecdote over email that the local yokels from my hometown of Auburn, shout out to Auburn in the Annapolis Valley, we don't call it Oaklawn Farm, we call it Rogerson's because of...
Want another one?
Gail Rogerson, the original owner and founder of the zoo. Founder of the zoo, as if it's like some institution. It might be an institution locally, but you get the idea. We don't call it Oaklawn Farm. We call it Rogerson's. And actually, maybe I'll bring up a picture here after the break. Is Maria, my mom's neighbor, is the person that takes care of the lions, and her Facebook feed is just pictures of big cats sitting in like wheelbarrows and stuff, because all cats are the same. If you put a box on the floor, they will sit in it, and the lions will, sit in the wheelbarrows. And she plays hockey with them too, with the soccer ball, and she was actually on the front page of Yahoo Sports like 5 or 6 years ago. Anyway, enough about that.
And Daisy?
I'm already on to the next item.
For the signal, I'm Zarnagar.
Yeah, so the little kid enjoying the zoo. Here's a breadcrumb. Has Pauline talked about breadcrumbs in interviewing? Might be something you learn later. But yeah, a breadcrumb is when someone mentions something without really giving it context or elaborating on it. So here's a breadcrumb that I can talk about another time. But a monkey grabbed me when I was like 4 at that zoo.
For the signal, I'm Zarnagar.
Social distancing has had big effects on...
When my mom tells this story, it's much more dramatic than it sounds. I think it just like got my shirt or something. But, you know how moms are.
How to get the story while keeping his sources safe.
Speaking of my mom, it was my parents' 39th wedding anniversary yesterday, which is crazy to think about. 2 people that don't particularly like each other anymore. I'm joking.
While keeping his sources safe.
Spikes.
Zach Gowdy.
Yeah, right there. So what we're going to do is go over here. And again, that little bit of sound that everyone was encouraged to use throughout their piece, having it at the beginning. Oh, man, that's so helpful. It's going to make the show sound really nice. Like chef's kiss.
Who's had to figure
Maybe
out
not
how to
that
get
intense.
the story while keeping his sources safe.
Zach Gowdy is unpacking a bag of audio-video gear.
Yeah, he is. Cool. See if you chime in on the chat there. We're getting, we got a few people watching now. That's cool. That's cool. Thank you. If you have questions about what I'm doing or you want to see something demonstrated,
Newfoundland and Labrador.
Anne Perry.
let's get the timing right here.
Newfoundland and Labrador.
Anne Perry isn't letting COVID-19 get.
So I talked about this in some of the one-on-one chats that I've had with most of you, is that I don't like hard edges. I like to be sort of delicate and dainty with the sound, so everything has got to be faded in and out really smoothly.
Anne Perry isn't letting COVID-19 get in the way of spreading
Thanks,
the word
Simon.
about a deadly cancer. The woman from Shelburne County, Sky, reports.
Cool. So having the numbers on the pieces here is really helping me tonight. I don't have to go looking for anything. And I also spent a few minutes earlier cutting the pickups or the bad takes out of the script, so I don't have to do a lot of work this evening.
Alex Guy reports.
Since her husband
Oh, too tight, Mark. Too tight.
Alex Guy reports.
Since her husband Toby's death, Anne Perry has become an advocate for colorectal cancer awareness and
Is Simon being described as sultry in the chat, or is Michael, is Chubbs hearing his own voice there?
Reports.
since her husband Toby's death, Anne Perry
Alex Guy reports.
since her husband Toby's death, Anne Perry has become an advocate for colorectal cancer.
In the time of COVID,
For the Signal, I'm Alex Guy.
There she is. So Alex is one of the hosts of the second show that I should be starting in the back half of this weird stream.
For the Signal, I'm Alex Guy.
in the time of COVID,
For the Signal, I'm Alex Guy.
in the time of COVID,
Too much.
For the Signal, I'm Alex Guy.
in the time of COVID,
There's a beat in there and I'm missing it.
For the Signal, I'm Alex Guy.
in the time of COVID, when most people
Oops. Getting ahead of myself here. What do we got? In the time of COVID?
Nicholas Sagan explains.
There she is. Cool. So yeah, I'll just talk about what that process was there. So all of the other blocks I've dragged in so far have been colored, and then that one was gray for a brief moment. Audition doesn't like to match sample rates on the fly, so it'll pre-convert them before you put them in the session. Everything needs to be the same. So this 48,000 hertz it's just a resolution value for audio. It's actually I can link someone the video if they're more interested in knowing about sample rates. Who would be? But it's actually quite fascinating the way audio is split and segmented into numbers and chunks. It's kind of cool actually how we figured it out.
Nicholas Sagan explains.
Vanessa Hartley joins an African. Vanessa Hartley.
Hey, guess what we're gonna do here? Yeah, we're gonna slide that back
Vanessa Hartley.
just like that, and just really quickly throw a little fade on.
By environmental racism. Nicholas
We can do better than that. So I'm going to do an envelope here, actually. I'll ride that in that way and then do that.
and how it's affected by environmental racism. Nicholas Sagan explains.
Yeah, she will. So let's bring that down a little bit. I put an elbow in it. And I'll bring that fade over a bit more.
And how it's affected by environmental racism. Nicholas Sagan explains.
Vanessa Hartley joins.
So that is very close. I don't like where this is though. So let's just get in there, bring that back.
It's affected by environmental racism. Nicholas Sagan explains.
Vanessa Hartley joins an African drumming circle.
Yeah, that's great. So I'll put this over here. I gotta be getting close to the reset. I don't have my script in front of me. I'm kind of just going by the seat of my pants here. Oh, nice. She fought me a little bit. She didn't want to put that in. But then Pauline said she liked it, so that's good.
You're listening to The Signal.
So there is the reset. Reset is actually, it's very useful for our purposes, but it's actually a hangover from more, say like traditional broadcast convention. And what we want to do is actually just remind people what they're listening to. And it's not so valuable. I shouldn't say valuable, but it's not so key for us to do it in a podcast sense, because people can always look down at their phone or their web browser and see what they're listening to. But because audio is such a wonderfully passive medium where you can sort of absorb it without being totally focused on it, unlike video, ironically you're watching right now, you can leave it in the background. So maybe, like having a reset, what we're about to mix right now in the middle of the show, is just to remind people what they're listening to. So in the chance that they happen upon your podcast, you can tell them what they're listening to, because if they like what they're hearing, you're going to want them to come back and listen to the next episode and maybe go back through your previous episodes. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to right click on this block and I'm going to lock it in time so I can move it down I won't like mess up the timing. So I'm going to move that down to a track on its own. And, I'm going to call this theme, right? I'm going to copy that and then I'm going to go over to the reset over here. And I'm going to go paste. Uh-oh. I think I pasted it right there. So we're going to undo that and pretend that never happened. I'm going to unlock this clip. I'm going to paste it right there. Oh, I'm struggling. Mark's struggling right now. Let's unlock that. There we go. And then we're going to go for a little walk over to the right here. There we go. I didn't promise that all of it would be smooth and quick and easy. Yeah, Jeff, they got great sound. All over. Always get sound wherever you go. Even if the room is seemingly quiet or the space is seemingly quiet, if you talk to a person in a room, even if it's my living room here, you want to record that space for 30 to 45 seconds. It helps. It helps when going to mix, I'll tell you. Oh, nice. Cool. So we're going to fade that out right there and bring in the song Cold. Actually, I'm going to move this over. Oh, nice. And that's where the song's going to come back in right there. Oh, nice. That's not bad. I like that. I like that a lot. That seems loud. So I'm going to just bring that down. I don't like to shock the audience. So if this song is kind of like blasting loud on top of the previous piece, I'm just going to bring it down just a little bit. Just, again, I don't want to shock my audience. So again, talk about posts. I'm just going to find that post similar to what we did at the beginning. I'm going to bring it down. I think we went -15 earlier, but not important to make it the same as long as it sounds good every time. Let's get our timing here.
You're listening to The Signal.
Yeah, I dig that. Let's hear this whole sequence now just to make sure it hangs.
You're listening to The Signal, audio journalism from the University of King's College. We're heard on CKDU, Dalhousie Campus Radio at 88.1 FM.
Okay, I'm going to give that some attention. We're going to go here. Let's get rid of that. We'll just tighten up Simon just a little bit. Again, when you can't see the person's cues across from you, there's usually a gap. It's like when you talk to someone on the phone.
88.1 FM.
Our shows are also on SoundCloud,
which is where this is going to go. I just noticed that I made a little hand gesture here when I was referencing talking on the phone. People born in the 2000s use this gesture now instead of this. So if you're born in like before 2000, this is the phone, but after 2000, this is the phone, and that's distressful. It's distressing.
You're listening to The Signal,
That's better.
88.1 FM.
Our shows are also on SoundCloud. Search the
So I'm not sure if you can hear this coming through the stream or not, but I'm hearing it quite clearly out of my monitors here. I talked about compression earlier and the weird analogy, intentionally strange analogy of fitting a pillowcase through a garden hose. I'm going to turn Rose down just a little bit so you can hear what she sounds like on her own.
Audio journalism from the University of King's College.
And now I'm going to turn Rose back up to where she originally was. Now listen really, really closely. See if you can hear the compression here.
Audio journalism from the University of King's College.
Do you hear the difference there? So what it is Rose gets louder. Hello, Rose. Thank you for joining us. Anyway, so as Rose gets louder, the compressor pushes down harder on her. And since she's loud enough, I don't need to, we call it slamming the compressor. I don't need to slam the compressor so much anymore. So I'm going to turn her down. I'm not going to lose any amplitude.
You're listening to The Signal.
Cool. I want her to be full and loud, but I also don't want her to sound overly processed.
88.1 FM.
Our shows are also on SoundCloud.
Yeah, and I turned all of it up, so we're gonna just bring him down just a touch.
Our shows are also on SoundCloud.
That's better.
Search The Signal, a Halifax podcast.
It's all good, Rose.
And you can check us out on Twitter @SignalHFX.
Oh, almost the same length. So I think I could. This should go down here. Oh no, what have I done? Let's actually copy that, and then we will lock it in time like we did earlier. Overlap them. When you overlap blocks on the same track, they do an automatic crossfade, which allows for like really, really seamless stuff. This isn't entirely seamless, but you get the idea. I can go back and nitpick that if you want to, but it's background at this point. So go back over here. We will paste our ending in, and then we will line it up with the beats. The beats. You can actually see like the kick drum here. You can see the shape of it, and it matches. At least I hope you can see that. So let's go here.
HFX.
Yeah, I hear it.
HFX.
I'd rather do that. I'm going to put a knee in it, though, just to try to smooth it out as much as possible.
HFX.
Good enough. If you want, if anyone, especially if you take the audio workshop either in the fall or the winter, if you want to know how to do that little beat matching trick, I can show you. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun when you can pull it off. So what is next?
A well-known food expert.
Thanks, Jeff. You're pretty good with the camera, dude. You should do this for some Photoshop stuff, maybe. I don't know.
HFX.
A well-known food
Ooh, too tight.
HFX.
A well-known food expert says COVID-19 means traditional business models. The pandemic, the benefits.
I'm going to leave that as is. I turned it down on the other one, but I'm going to make a decision just to leave that as it is. So let's...
As Raghu Para tells us.
There's Raghu Para. All right, so let's throw him in. I'm looking at this. I think I might want to touch those levels up just a little bit, but let's line it up first and see what we got.
Have a great day.
Yeah, there we go. Let's go like that.
As Raghu Para tells us, he says he's now reaping the benefits.
Mark Romaldi says his Windsor-based Mr. Meat Market
Says he's now reaping the benefits.
Mark Romaldi says his Windsor-based Mr. Meat Market made the leap to a
Okay, so I'm just going to pop in here really quick and just do a very crude level fix on this.
Well, we didn't anticipate in the making.
Romaldi has
That's fine.
In the making.
Yeah, that's fine. So what I'm going to use here is, well, let's go back to the multi-track just for a second. So I've been using volume envelopes most of the time, right? The envelopes bit here. You've seen me use those a bunch. You can also do them on the file themselves in the edit window. And they're quite useful because what you don't want is, well, here, I'll show you the effect you don't want to create, which is this right here.
A new store takes years in the making.
Romaldi has sold.
It just drives off a cliff in terms of loudness. So we can actually avoid that by using the volume envelope. So we're going to go Effects, Amplitude, Gain envelope. Same thing, volume and gain. So this might be hard to see. I'm getting blinded, by the way, right now. What we're going to do is put a node at the very end, and then we're going to boost it this way. So we can go 6 dB here, 6 dB there. Maybe we go over here and put like a little, oh, what have I done? What have I done? 1 second here. I clicked in like the wrong spot and deselected what I had, which is frustrating. But neither here nor there. So we're going to put a knee there, and then we'll play it back. I just need that. That's what I need.
Truck.
Well, we didn't anticipate COVID when we adopted this location. To develop a new store takes years in the making.
Romaldi has sold.
Yeah, it's still not perfect. It's hard to repair stuff once it's been rendered. And the clip is recorded fine. It's just missed a low level. That's all.
To develop a new store takes years in the making.
Yeah, that'll do. That'll do for tonight. And then you hit apply. If you want to do it twice, you could. Too much. So let's undo that one. That's fine. Back to the multi-track, and the change will be reflected there. So I'm happy with that. I might do the same thing on this second clip. I can already see.
This is possible.
Yeah, I can already see that needs help. So here's a cool thing. I want a PC. That's not the cool thing. But F2 is repeat last command with dialogue, and F3 is repeat last command without dialogue. So since I've already drawn the shape of the envelope, I can just hit F3 until, well, there you go. I had to hit it twice. So I'm happy with where that clip is. So let's go here.
That hard and broadens his market.
We developed that store because it was something for everybody. Vegan diets.
Cool. I see one more clip at the very, very end. Again, I'm not going to do this for everyone. It's not really necessary. Again, I'm nitpicking right now. So let's just give that a little boosteroo. Done. That's it. I'm happy with that. I'm just eyeballing it for now. I might run a little bit of light compression over the whole show when we're done, but we'll see.
For the signal, I'm Raghu Para in Windsor, Ontario.
COVID-19.
Geez, Simon, let him finish.
For the signal, I'm Raghu Para in Windsor, Ontario.
COVID-19 shut down team sports for...
Cool. Just going to bring Simon down just a hair.
Volleyball leagues are back in full swing.
A staple of that.
Go here. It's going to bring Simon down just a touch, just to match. Again, don't want to shock the audience.
There's soccer.
I mean, sometimes you do. It's a good way to get people's attention, is to sort of like blast them with something. But for the most part, I want things to be smooth and even. And again, I don't want to like jolt anyone.
As Leo Bowie tells us, their soccer, softball, and volleyball leagues are back in full swing.
A friend of mine plays in the Halifax Plays Softball League, and his plucky band of underdogs finished second place in the softball playoffs that happened over the weekend.
And volleyball leagues are back in full swing.
Yolanda Kumu.
And I think I skipped over that. That's what this piece is about.
Now, a volunteer-run organization called Halifax Plays.
Halifax Plays, yeah. Softball's wrapped up for another year. Didn't get to play much this year, which is unfortunate. I only get to play, I think, 2 months or something, but a lot of games in those 2 months. I was playing like 3, 4, 5 games a week. It was pretty intense.
Sport is a great.
A staple of that.
Oh, 1 second here.
Recreational sport is a great.
Is that where that ends? I'm gonna have to flag that and come back to it.
For many people like Yolanda, recreational sport is a great.
Okay, I'm gonna have to mark that and come back to it. I think I'm not sure if that downloaded from my email correctly. So we are going to mark that and come back to it.
Ballroom as a place to safely distance and catch live acts.
So go here.
Ballroom as a place to safely distance and catch live acts.
Cool. Is that the right piece?
As John Werbit tells us, the Derby Show Bar.
Yeah, there it is. Cool.
Live acts.
People line up at the door.
People line up at the door. They do. So earlier you noticed that I went in and actually fixed some levels, but I actually see less dynamic in this piece. So what I may actually do is just, I may just normalize the, just normalize the entire piece. I'll come back to it. I'll catch some of those level discrepancies in post. Oh boy. So you can see what I did there by accident. I accidentally had 2 blocks highlighted. So I went to move one and I moved both of them. Just always be careful of that. Control Z, you can undo stuff pretty quickly.
For the signal, I'm John Werbit.
First, they showed us.
So this actually, I think I need to do something about this right now, actually. So what we're going to do, I'm just thinking about how I want to do this because I have a couple of ways to do it. Let's zoom in here. Is there an effects rack on? Yeah, here we go. Add or remove effects. So we talked about compression earlier. I'm going to apply a compression directly to this block, not the entire track because I'm happy with the other items, but this piece here just needs a little bit of oomph to match it with the other ones. So I'm going to use the same preset as before, soft limit at -12. Again, I promised not to get into the nitty gritties of how compression worked and what all these settings do. But you've got a signal coming in, let's say this big, and then if it crosses a threshold, so in this instance it does cross the threshold, then you'll have a certain number of milliseconds before the actual compression grips. So you've got the time before the compression starts, and then you actually have the amount of time it takes for that compression to go. So it's like, okay, start now and do it at this speed. And it's all governed by loudness. I promised I wouldn't do this, but I'm doing it anyway. So anyway, I just applied a little compression to it.
People like Shelly are making the new Halifax rapper get a little bit livelier. For the signal, I'm John Werbit.
First, they showed us how to be.
Okay, so let's go to the little rack here. And I'm just gonna give that a little boost. Just a little boost, nothing big.
Here, just a little bit livelier. For the signal, I'm John Werbit.
First, they showed us how to be alone. Now,
clip-related anecdotes. Oh, is that a challenge to have an anecdote for every clip? I should see if I can do it.
I'm John Werbit.
First, they showed.
And yeah, Jeff, boot camp is nearly finished. It's crazy. We start workshops. So what is it next week? Are we on workshops next week? Is that what this means?
Is called How to Be at Home. Chelsea Mahar has the details.
Chelsea Mahar. I don't mean to talk about softball too much, but we had a little bit of debate. It's like, how do we say Chelsea's name? And it is Mahar, but I do play ball with a guy whose last name is Mar, but it's spelled exactly the same.
Is called How to Be at Home. Chelsea Mahar has the details.
Andrea Dorfman is one.
Okay, so that again, you know what? This can be. Wow, we're almost to the end of this show. I'm gonna normalize this to start, and you know what? I think I'm gonna do the same thing I did with our friend, our Derby buddy over here, John Werbit. Add remove effects. I'm gonna just add some dynamics processing here. Same preset, and then just mix to taste.
Is called How to Be at Home. Chelsea Mahar has the details.
Andrea Dorfman.
Yeah, there we go. If anything, that's a little too loud now. Cool. And that's it. Those are the goodbyes right there. So let's go. No, this one here. We will drag the theme music back in, and I don't need to do any beat matching or anything on it. It's at the end of the show. Who cares? So this is actually something that people struggle to wrap their head around when they first start using Audition or Premiere. Is even Photoshop to a degree, is that it's just a series of references to other files, and then you build this new piece out of each element. There's no audio embedded in my session right now. So what it allows us to do is use each of these elements here, and I'll point to them on the left. You can use each of these elements in a number of different ways. You don't spend it. You can reuse it every time, because it always stays in its original state, even within a piece. And the example that I just demonstrated is that I grabbed the theme music that I used at the beginning, and I just dragged and dropped it back in. It's the exact same file that's over here, but we're at the end of the piece now, and yeah, we can just play the theme song again because we have to.
Chelsea Mahar, The Signal, Halifax.
Okay, Chelsea, I'm just gonna, I know. I'm just gonna add a little EQ on you. Yeah, I don't think I need to boost these here. So what is Mark doing on this screen? Thank you for asking. Did the chat ask that? How to be at home is amazing. What? What does that mean? I'm just looking at the chat here. So this is an equalizer, and you've got bass over here and treble over here. So if you've ever been to a rock concert and the kick drum hits you right in the sternum, even though you're at the back of the arena or the club, that's this frequency right here. There's not a lot of punch in the human voice, so turning it up is just going to make it sound like poo. And I talked earlier about how bad our ears are. Really, we're only good at hearing these frequencies over here, between 1,000 hertz and 4,000 hertz. And if you take the audio workshop, I'll talk about frequencies a little bit more. It's good to know. It's good to know your craft, but you don't need to know the science and the physics of it. Just know that between roughly 2,000 and 4,000, these bands here are the ones that we hear the best, and that's really, really small. And that's coincidentally, that's what phone line is generally made up of, is just those bands, those frequencies, and we call that frequency response. So the frequency response of the human ear would be 20 to 20,000 hertz. Dogs can hear much more than we can, higher up, so that's why dog whistles work. If you get a chance to go to the Discovery Center down on the Halifax waterfront, there's actually a little test. You put on headphones and then you turn this dial back to see how old your ears are. My ears, after playing in rock bands for years and years, are terrible. I have the ears of a 65-year-old man. It's brutal.
Chelsea Mahar, The Signal, Halifax.
Cool. So what I did is I just tweaked Chelsea's piece a little bit to add some clarity, and I did that by, since I just gave you a science lesson, I just boosted the frequencies that we are really good at hearing, and I removed some of the ones that take up a lot of space, we'll call it. So I just added some clarity. That's really all I did, and you can do it too now.
Chelsea Mahar, The Signal, Halifax.
That's our show.
Oh, right. Okay. I'm hearing it now. Sorry. What happened in the chat is kind of interesting because when I'm making these shows, I don't hear it. I'm just looking for timing and make sure that the levels are good. So I don't hear the words. It happens. Same thing happens in the studio when you're doing live production. You come out of the studio. How'd the show go? I don't know. In on time, out on time, and no one said. Someone dropped an F-bomb on the air. That's the extent of it. Yeah, there we go. Right there. Hey, you've seen me do this 2 times already. You could probably do it now as well. Go there.
That's our show from...
Oof. I didn't do that one very well. That's not my best work. That's
our show from... That's our show from Group 1 of the Bootcamp audio class at the University of King's College.
Yep. It sure is. One show is done. Look at that.
That's our show from Group 1 of the Bootcamp audio class at the University. See you again soon.
So we have 2 options here. I could do the little beat cut and move the end of the song over, but since it's the end of the show, we're gonna ride it out smooth. I'm not gonna cut the end off this time. I'm gonna let the theme play.
Talk to you again soon.
Bye-bye.
Oh, Rose, I need to turn you up. Actually, I'll do it this way. I can just eyeball it. There we go.
Talk to you again soon.
Bye-bye.
Let's bring that over a little bit. I didn't like it, but that was me, not you.
Talk to you again soon.
Bye-bye.
Cool. Done. One show is done. Cool. So what we're going to do is we go save. Would you like to save changes to Derby Bar? Yes, I would. Show script. Yes, I would. Yes. And there we are. I'm just saving the project now. I'm not going to export just yet. Although I could. We'll do that. We'll do that another time. I'll do that off stream. So let's do another one. You want to do another one? You want to see another one? I'll build another show right now. Step number 1, save as. Browse. I'm going to call this... Oh, look at that. I put a sloppy keyboardmanship. Call this show 2. Hit OK. And here we go. I'm going to do this. Wait for it. Oh, it didn't do anything. That's weird. There it is. I just deleted the whole show. It's gone. So let's go back to our files. And we're going to right click. Actually, edit. Where is it? Closed unused media. So anything that's not in the session, I'm going to close. I don't need the files. All I need is the session, the new session that I gave a new name, and the theme song. So let's go back in here. Show 2. And open it up. Pardon me. So the second one's going to go a lot faster because I don't need to do as much. Hey, thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. I don't need to do as much like focused, in-depth commentary this time. Also, you guys want to hear a blooper? Oh, Jeff's got to go right before I'm going to play a blooper. Oh, that's weak. He's already gone too. I'm down to 9. I'm down to 9 people. That's fine. So yeah, let me know if you want to hear a blooper from Michael Chubbs. I'll keep an eye peeled for that. So let's go same as before. Show script up on the top track, and then we just line it up for timing.
Welcome to The Signal. This is the platform for... I'm Alex Guy.
And I'm Michael Chubbs.
Perfect. So I'll put that over there. Actually, I'm going to group these together. I'm going to they're not locked in time anyway, so that's fine. Go like this. Line it up.
And I'm Michael Chubbs.
Yeah, perfect. We'll just tighten it up a little bit.
I'm Alex Guy.
And I'm Michael Chubbs. Chubbs.
So a lot of this is already done for us. We just have to plug in the new material. Although...
For both good and bad.
It's becoming cliche to say we live in strange...
So I think that's the next intro. So let's just move this over and line it up with our little... We already have a fade in there.
This year, COVID-19 is having a big effect on students. In our program, we're working remotely from all over the country.
So we're going to just turn that up a little bit. I'm just going to eyeball it for now.
This year, COVID-19 is having a big effect on students. In our program, we're working remotely from all over the country.
So that just... Again, I talked about this earlier, how if you can't see the person across from the table from you, you're not really sure if they're done talking or not.
In our program, we're working remotely from all over the country.
So we decided to take a look at some of the...
Don't worry about that little stumble. That's totally fine. That would have happened if we did it live, and for all intents and purposes, we did the show live today. That's what we're going to tell people. Oops. Is that locked in time? Why is that different? Okay, I'm going to ungroup these because there's something weird going on here. Oh, that was locked. Okay, that's why. All right, well, never mind then.
For both good and bad.
Right there. Just bring this over. Put this in. So I'm going to hop, skip, and jump through this one pretty fast because, again, y'all heard my commentary already the first time. You don't need to hear it twice. But if you do have any questions about anything, let me know. But it's going to be mostly rinse and repeat.
And bad.
Let's get that fade in a little earlier.
Both good and bad.
Yeah, I like that. Bring that over there.
Kunal Chowdhury has more.
Or find new ways of coping and adapting.
Right. For example, see for both good and bad. Impacts the pandemic is having on how we live and what we do, for both good and bad.
It's becoming cliche to say we live in strange times, but sometimes a crisis can make you try something
Just
new
gonna hear this
or
because
find new ways of coping and adapting.
I think I split the
Right. For example,
intro
senior care has never been easy.
in the wrong spot.
But the coronavirus pandemic...
But I'm going to make the executive decision. Let's say I'm taking some creative liberties. Taking some creative liberties with it. That works fine. I'm happy with that. I kind of like it better.
Population. Kunal Chowdhury has more.
All right. So Chowdhury right there. Get you in there, my friend.
Chowdhury has more.
It was...
Chowdhury has...
Yep. That's good. Again, we're not listening to all of these. I'm just... I'm only concerned with the beginnings and the ends.
For the signal, I'm Kunal Chowdhury.
Where you...
Right here, I can tell where the cut occurs. It's the room tone. It's the air in the background that I'm listening for.
For the signal, I'm Kunal Chowdhury.
Where you live in Atlantic Canada could make a big difference. The pandemic derail its attempts to change that.
Oh, who did this start?
As Prepo Gal tells us.
Cool. So I did the same thing with this show as I did the other one. I went through and I numbered all of the items.
You could open you up now.
It's a rainy afternoon.
It's a rainy afternoon right there. So we will, again, I like to crossfade things as much as possible.
It's a rainy
I'm going to go like this, bring that down. And you saw this in the other show.
The substance user network of the Atlantic region isn't letting the pandemic derail its attempts to change that.
It's a rainy afternoon.
If anything, I think the background was just a little too distracting.
The substance user network of the Atlantic region isn't letting the pandemic derail its attempts to change that.
It's a rainy afternoon in Halifax.
A rainy afternoon in Halifax. It's always a rainy afternoon in Halifax. It was strange. It rained all day today, and then at like 5, the sun came out. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know anymore. I don't understand.
For the signal, I'm Preet Bogle.
Other vulnerable or
For the signal, I'm Preet Bogle.
Other vulnerable or marginalized groups are also... Daryl Roberts has more.
Daryl Roberts has more. Do we have a Daryl Roberts in the audience? I wish we did. Everyone should be here.
For the signal, I'm Preet Bogle.
Other vulnerable or marginalized.
Oh, I turned that up way too much. And again, I may be eyeballing some of these volume changes, but I'm ultimately using my ears to make sure that there isn't a huge discrepancy between one clip to the next.
For the signal, I'm Preet Bogle.
Other vulnerable or marginalized groups are also looking for ways to support each other during the pandemic.
Zara, it's always a rainy afternoon in Halifax, or are you? Is that where we're at? It does rain here a lot. It's very gray. Summers are gorgeous here, though, I gotta say. I'm outside a lot in the summer. I'm definitely a summer person.
Daryl Roberts has more.
It's Saturday morning.
I put that on the quiz. What is Mark's favorite season? If you wrote fall, you would not get a point for that.
Feature. For the signal, I'm Daryl Roberts in Halifax.
That was a fun piece. So I do see, and you can see on the waveforms, I can see the dynamics of everything here. I'm just gonna, oh, that's
is a jerk.
Okay, so he's already talked to me about that. It's really hard recording in the club. I will say that. Things are super loud, and they're also unexpectedly loud at times. And you have to have a certain type of microphone and a certain type of recording equipment to record in a nightclub effectively. And it has revealed a limitation of your kit.
Wanted to interact with people.
Online shows helped ease.
Yeah, it's just a really challenging environment to record in, and Daryl did a good job. But that's why there's like this square piece of sausage kind of wedged in the middle here. That's club noise.
Our shows are also on our SoundCloud. Search The Signal, a Halifax.
Is this the reset already? Oh my gosh.
COVID-19 has disrupted life around the planet. Yet in Lagos, Nigeria, it has also opened up untapped creativity for colleague Kemi Mabunori is in Lagos and has their story.
Okay, so I don't have Kemi on hand this evening, so I'm going to set that aside. I'm just going to leave a little gap in here.
Our colleague, Oluwakemi Mabunori.
As well as the alternate takes of her name. Michael, you did great. You did great on her name, by the way. I'm going to just leave those down here as a placeholder for her piece. And I'm also going to put a marker in there so I can remember that. I really hope she comes through. I want her to be part of the show.
You're listening to The Signal, audio journalism from the University of King's College. We're heard on CKDU.
Makes a note. This isn't in the syllabus, but it very well could have been.
The campus radio at 88.1 FM.
Our shows are also on our SoundCloud.
So yeah, I'm a big summer person. I think I swam every day for the month of July for the past 3 years. There's a lake just not even one song length away from me, and
has their story.
You're listening to...
There's a beach and stuff, and that's fine. Beaches are cool. I'm not really fussy on the beach though. Like I don't need sand between my toes to enjoy a good swim. So I live near Carney Lake, and I just park my car, hop over the guardrail, and just, once I'm properly garbed for swimming.
And has their story.
Oh, right. So I need to leave a gap there. So we'll do that. So yeah, it's very easy for me just to get off work in the summer, grab a burger or something, go for a dip. Except for I don't know if maybe I tell this story. I don't know. My car was broken into in August while I was swimming. I went to Long Lake with my kids, and we were in there for over 2 hours, not quite 3 hours, but like a good chunk of time. And the car was way away from us. We couldn't see it. There were no sight lines. And come back out, and there's glass everywhere, and I'm like, what the, a string of expletives. wallet was stolen. Girlfriend's backpack was gone. It was crappy. It was a crappy moment. But you call 911 and you explain everything, and like you're a non-emergency situation at that point. And if you ever get labeled non-emergency, that just means the cops don't show up. That's just basically what that means. But I was told to wait, like, sir, are you in a safe spot? Can you, stay with the vehicle? Yes, I can. The dispatcher was trying to be helpful, but ultimately I knew the value of my situation.
HFX.
1 second here. Right there. They said, can you stay with the car? And I said, yes, I can. I was like, okay, an officer will be with you in an hour. Spoiler alert, the police officer never came. So we sat there for an hour, and I put the hour to good use. And I tried to do some productive things like, canceling a credit card. But man, I felt like a total idiot because you can't just call and be like, yeah, my card's stolen. Okay, sir, it's off now. That's not how a credit card cancellation works. You have to sit there on hold and wait for your credit card to be canceled. Meanwhile, this person's running around turned out a bunch of cigarettes and booze.
And you can check us out on Twitter too at SignalHFX.
Oh, that was bad. That's the wrong bar.
SignalHFX.
1 second here.
To at SignalHFX.
Right there. So while I was sitting there in my car, and of course, like, my girlfriend and the kids had to be in the back seat because the passenger side was just covered in glass. What's this? That's funny. So yeah, Newfoundland problems. I like that, Michael. So anyway, I went on my phone because I have an online banking app, and I could see that they were swiping my debit card at like 2 or 3 stores.
SignalHFX.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, this is more productive use of my time right now. So I phoned the Needs, and I explained.
Twitter too at SignalHFX.
That's bad. I phoned like the Needs where my card was swiped, and I explained that my car was broken into. It's not my card. Whatever.
To at SignalHFX.
Yeah, that's good. And the guy's like, yeah, I remember them. Come on down. I'll give you the receipt. Great. That's actually super helpful. And meanwhile, I'm doing all of this while I'm waiting for the cop. Another place they went was the Sobeys on Mumford Road. So if you're here in Halifax, it's just by Halifax Shopping Center. So I go to the Needs, and I get the receipt, and I question the guy, and he's like, yeah, it was a woman about this tall and a lot of tattoos and blah, blah, blah. I'm okay, fine. I take all these notes on my phone. I take the receipts. I'm looking where the cameras are and stuff like that.
You can check us out on Twitter.
Pretending to be a detective for like an evening.
Simon Smith went to find out.
And I go to the Sobeys. And this is where the story gets really cool before I put Simon Smith's piece in here.
Simon Smith went to find out how that's impacted the festival's newest performer.
Morgan Tony.
So I go to the Sobeys. And they spent like $96 on cigarettes, just cartons and cartons of cigarettes.
Was held online this year. Simon Smith went to find out how that's impacted the festival's newest performer.
Morgan Tony.
And I caught a lucky break. The girl that rang them through recognized the guy from high school, of all things. This is such a Halifax story. Like, it wouldn't happen anywhere else. She's like, yeah. And she told me his name. And like, he was the same stupid haircut and the same stupid ball cap that he went to high school with. And I was like, okay, go on. Tell me more. And like, here's his face. And showed me on Facebook, which is hilarious.
Signal. I'm Simon Smith.
So it took me literally 78 minutes to find the guy that smashed my car window. Anyway, so I get home, the cop's waiting at my door. I hand him like a stack of documents from my investigation, end quote.
In Calgary, oh well.
And of course he asked me all these questions and stuff. So fast forward 3 months, the Halifax Regional Police do their investigation through, proper channels and protocols. And they got him. It was the same guy that I found.
Refocus its programming. Nicole Fusekis tells us it's you.
And he's entering his plea tomorrow, which will be interesting, to say the least. I'm not going to that. I guess I don't have to fill out all these weird forms and stuff that I've never filled out before. But yeah, that's my story of my summer. Had my car broken into. This is the essay question. Yeah, it is.
In the corner of Fort Calgary's museum, there's a fake streetcar. The front of it.
But stemming from my car being broken into, I now have this really, really like wholesome story of friendship that I'd also be happy to share with you while we still have time while editing this show. This might be my new YouTube channel, by the way. It's just like story time and podcast mixing.
Tells us it's using the opportunity to transform and refocus its programming.
In the corner of Fort
I didn't mix that very well. But yeah, I have this really wholesome story of friendship now because, and to wrap things up in a neat little package, it's my friend Jay who played in the softball league that I mentioned earlier.
It's using the opportunity to transform and refocus its programming.
In the corner of Fort Calgary.
His father is a retired mechanic, and Jay caught wind of my, crappy situation.
We've heard.
Oh, this is going to be a longer show than the other one, which is cool. We dig it. He caught wind of my crappy situation, and God bless this guy.
I'm Nicole Fusekis.
We've heard.
I'm going to guess what I'm going to do here. I'm going to add, if you guessed dynamics processing, you would be correct. So his father, a retired mechanic, my friend Jay phoned around to all these scrap yards in HRM, found my car in like some junkyard in Cole Harbor. He picked me up. We drove out. He had all these tools and stuff.
Campfires out. And the lights are off in the museum. For the signal, I'm Nicole Fusekis.
We've heard lots about how.
So he drove me out to Cole Harbor, took the window out of the car. I went over to his place afterwards. He put my window in for me. It cost me $30.
Business has been cut in half. Nathan Horn has.
Like Speedy would have done that for like $300. It's just crazy. But anyway, so good friend to have. They're hard to come by, but he's
At
a
one
good
downtown Halifax bar, business has been cut in half. Nathan Horn has more.
Nathan Horn, where we at, boy?
It's midday.
So anyway, yeah, interesting end to my summer. Oh yeah, and comically
Bar
enough,
business has been cut in half. Nathan Horn has more.
It's midday in down.
It was the day before my youngest's 11th birthday. Like my window was smashed like on his birthday weekend, and he's such a like lovely little soul. He's like, well, I'll never forget this birthday. Oh, I guess you won't, bud. I'm sorry.
Halifax.
It's hard to find opportunities.
Nathan Horn, The Signal, Halifax.
Again, you can see how useful it is to have that sound tail off at the end. It just makes the show sound so much nicer to have that, like, have everything just sort of like link together like that.
Nathan Horn, The Signal, Halifax.
It's hard to find opportunities to enjoy live traditional music. Has more from Newfoundland. To think outside the box. Antonia Whalen has more from Newfoundland.
So I think it's this one, and we can talk about naming convention while we're here. I'm not singling anyone out. I just would like to remind people that like if you can put your name at the start, it's just easier. It's just easier to find stuff, especially when you're collaborating with people. But again, I agree within your group what the naming convention is going to be.
Thanks to COVID-19.
Ooh, we have a lot of music at the beginning of this one. Can I just I can almost. So since I have to overlap these pieces, I'm going to have to fade out manually, which is okay. Yeah, it's a linear fade. It's a linear fade. Who am I kidding? So let's go here and there.
Horn, The Signal, Halifax.
It's hard to find opportunities to enjoy live traditional music during a pandemic, but some folk musicians are trying to think outside the box. Antonia Whalen has more from Newfoundland.
Thanks to COVID-19.
Maybe, Michael, you just got dealt all the hard names. Is that the case? Did Alexandria get the easy ones tonight?
Thanks to COVID-19, traditional musical gatherings look a lot different these days. Dancing is prohibited. People must stay spaced apart.
Dancing is prohibited. That is a shame.
Finally, do you remember how everyone was making bread during the lockdown?
Ha 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 ha! I love this part.
Sure.
Okay, this
For the
made
Signal,
me
I'm
smile.
Antonia Whalen.
This part about the bread made me smile so much earlier when we recorded it. I'm glad this happened. So I'm gonna leave that running for a little bit here. I changed my mind. There we go, just like that. Maybe just bring it down over here. And we'll fade it off this way.
Finally, do you remember how everyone was making bread during the lockdown?
Right, and all the grocery stores.
Sorry, Michael.
Finally, do you remember how everyone was making bread during the lockdown?
Right, and all the grocery stores ran out of flour.
Well,
Where are you from in Labrador, Michael? I feel like you probably mentioned this during like the first day of class, but that was a long time ago.
Finally, do you remember how everyone was making bread during the lockdown?
Right, and all the grocery stores ran out of flour.
Well, one small family farm in Nova Scotia was all over that trip. Rosemary Murphy has their story.
There you go. Heritage flour. Let's do it. This is it. We're almost done, friends. We're almost done.
Rosemary Murphy has their story.
The farm is at the end of a long dirt road.
Yes.
It's red
Okay.
brick-
All right. I'll get to the blooper in just a second.
Sorry.
The farm is at the end of a long dirt road. It's red.
You're
brick-
going to have the context for the blooper very, very soon, actually. Let's turn this up. There we go. Nice and full.
Excess of their flour. Gabe and Riley are thinking of other products. Maybe salt or maple sugar next. For the Signal, I'm Rose Murphy in Antigonish.
There we go. Perfect. Yeah. The blooper's coming up. I have it set aside. You can see it over here.
Sugar next. For the Signal, I'm Rose Murphy in Antigonish.
That's our show from Group 2.
Goose Bay, cool. There are job opportunities in Goose Bay for broadcasters, if you like. A former student of mine and a friend, I would call him a friend, messaged me. They were hiring recently for a couple of reporters, I think.
I'm Rose Murphy in Antigonish.
That's our show from Group 2 of the Boot Camp audio class at the University of King's College. I'm Alex Guy.
And I'm Michael Chubbs.
Oh, hold on a second here. Just a second. I feel as if...
And don't forget to follow us on Twitter too, @Signal.
Where is it? So I have the blooper right here. This is the blooper. I'm sorry, Michael. I'm sorry, but we're all friends here. This is just a slice of life. This happens when you're trying to record a script and you're trying to get it right. And it's such a silly thing too, to like what I'm doing tonight. I'm talking to a bunch of people on the internet, which is strange. So let's play this back. There's all the different ways.
Homemade bread. Sorry, that was bound to happen.
You know what? If doesn't work for you, you can say, "Oh
Yeah.
God, I love homemade bread." That's fine. Don't worry about it.
I don't know. I was having fun with that. Yeah. Ooh.
It's really tricky.
Yeah. Ooh.
It's
Yeah.
yeah. These pretzels are making me thirsty. It's a challenging line.
Sure. I'm more of a ooh guy, so maybe I'll do a nice ooh. Let's see.
Good.
I might do that one twice, and then I'll have a pause, but you guys will figure it out. Sure. No worries. Ooh, homemade bread. Ooh, homemade bread. No, sorry. Ooh, homemade bread. Not just a COVID thing in Nova Scotia, eh?
It sure isn't.
There you go. Oh, that was a tricky line. You did really good on that, Mike. You did really good. And it's such a tricky little thing to do. Like, how do you script react naturally? It's like, have you ever tried to relax? It's a paradox. You can't do it. So yeah, that was a tricky part. You did really well. Also, now I'm forgetting where that's supposed to go. I think it's just.
Ooh, homemade bread. Ooh, homemade bread. Not just a COVID thing in Nova Scotia, eh?
It sure isn't.
I think I actually need that line. That's the line I think I need to put in. Whoops, I just went to the broadcasting software for a second. That's going to be awkward on the stream. But let's, actually, I think I need part of the blooper, believe it or not.
That's our show from Group 2.
So that actually I'm glad I saved the blooper. So let's go here.
Ooh, homemade bread. Not just a COVID thing in Nova Scotia, eh?
It sure is.
So let's just wrap this up. I do actually need this little exchange. I accidentally cut it out of the script, the real script. I accidentally cut it out.
I'm Rose Murphy in Antigonish.
Ooh, homemade bread. Not just a COVID thing in Nova Scotia, eh?
It sure isn't.
Yeah, there we go. Just like that. And then the theme comes in, and we're on the home stretch.
It sure isn't. That's our show from Group 2 of the Boot Camp audio class at the University of King's College.
Yeah, so before our people dip, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. It's actually been pretty fun. It was purely an experiment. Everybody, all their different reactions. Homemade bread, old family recipe. But yeah, thanks for sticking it out to the end. That's awesome of you. You didn't have to.
Of the Boot Camp audio class at the University of King's College. I'm Alex Guy.
So again, just I'm gonna edit for time here. Just gonna nip things together.
I'm Alex Guy.
And I'm Michael Chucks.
That's
so
our
this
show.
Just needs to come down a little bit. It's just way too loud. I can't really focus on the hosts.
That's our show from Group 2 of the Boot Camp audio class at the University of King's College. I'm Alex Guy.
And I'm Michael
You're very
Chucks.
welcome.
Thanks for listening, and stay tuned. Starting on Friday the 13th, the audio workshop at King's
thanks
will
for
start a
thanks
series
for
of
watching,
radio
guys.
shows
My pleasure.
showcasing student journalism.
It was cool that you showed
You'll be
up.
able to catch those on CKDU 80.
You'll be doing more podcasts in the audio workshop if you take it, and I encourage you to take it. I know it's, kind of you don't get to pick many workshops because of news being a mandatory one, but news is gonna be super valuable. You're gonna have super fun in there too. But Rose, yes, learn more about compression. Shoot me an email. It's something that you can use. You're the one that makes. Did you say you have a Korg? I think you make music. We should talk about that anyway. But yeah, if there's anything that you want to learn more about, if you want to do your own podcast, I'll tell you right now. If you want to do a podcast, you only need a name. My neighbor who is very spiritual, strong faith, strong religious faith. She wants to do a podcast about just how God can be inspiring, and these are things important to her, which is another thing. If you're going to do a podcast, make it meaningful to you. And I said, no, you need a pun name of some kind before you can do the podcast. I was like, we'll talk again in a week. And I bumped into her in the hall, and I was like, what's your podcast name? And she goes, For the Love of God. And I was like, yes, excellent, you got it. So anyway, on that note, I'm gonna take this to the end, and that's it. Oh, there's a little boo-boo in
Work
there.
from the. Sorry.
Yeah.
Or you can.
So we'll just make sure
to work from the. Or.
So we can kill that. Good catch.
Friday mornings at 11.
Or you can listen to Work from the Audio Workshop next month on SoundCloud. Search The Signal, a Halifax podcast. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter too, at SignalHFX.
So now we need. I really like this ending too. This was really cool. That was another outtake, wasn't it, Michael? Too. It was like I'm more of a
Take care.
I'm more of a take care guy, I think is what you said.
At Signal HFX. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter too, at Signal HFX. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.
Take care.
And that's it. We're all done. It's over. Fantastic work. I'm going to save this one. I have to save this one and set it aside anyway because hopefully our friend Kemi can get in under the wire. But that's it. That is how you make a podcast. There's a little bit more to it than that. I mean, I could go through the exporting phase and all that stuff, but I don't really have to. That's the easy one. But yeah. Thanks for sticking it out. And if you have any questions about anything, I mean, you can totally more of a take care guy. That's awesome. Yeah, so you can shoot me an email with any questions you have. Happy to chat about audio anytime. Rose, if you want to talk about compression, that's cool. What kind of guy is Mark to sign off? He's a see you later guy. All right, we'll see you guys soon.